Girlies, today's vibe is disco. Fellow Kiss fans, welcome to It's All For You Demon, celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan. And as you know, hello to you, Larmar. As you know, 2023 has kind of been my year of Dynasty so far, the Dynasty album. And don't worry, we're not going to talk about the Dynasty album tonight. We're going to talk about a little rabbit hole I've been going down. And when I tend to go down rabbit holes, I tend to really put myself in a theme, put myself in an emotion, put myself in a era of what I'm diving down. And since I'm diving down 79 Dynasty, I am throwing myself down a rabbit hole of what would a kid, 9-year-old kid in 1979, what would they love to do? What magazines would they like to buy? And it led me to find probably the greatest magazine I have ever seen of Kiss in my entire life. But before we do that, tonight's edition of the Dogs of It's All For You Demon, and very fitting for 1979's Dynasty, glitz, glam rock, disco fun, tonight's dog comes...
And what's this one?
Tonight's dog comes to us from our buddy Mascara Masquerade. Excellent makeup artist, excellent YouTube channel. Check him out on Instagram and YouTube. His links are below. And here are his dogs, Booger and Nesto. And as you can see from the pictures, they are in good company, surrounded by rock and roll fun.
Excuse me, please, but why do they call you Booger?
And the magazine we are looking at tonight is TV Superstar Kiss Mania from December 1979. And to wrap up this magazine in just a few short descriptions, imagine 1979 Woolworths running errands with your grandma and mom, the Woolworths cafeteria, a chocolate shake, a packet of bubble gum, this magazine in your hand, fun. This magazine, to me, is the epitome of that late 70s childhood magic and the fun that just dripped off the magazine rack, those pop culture magazines of the late 70s. Totally written for a targeted audience of kids like 9 years of age and younger.
I need one more. I want a program, that's all I want.
And as I said in the intro, my kind of rabbit hole scheme I'm going for is I'm just trying to grab any magazine I can possibly think of that a 9-year-old boy or girl, they got into Kiss around Phantom of the Park and they're looking forward to the Dynasty release. What magazines would they have bought in 1979? And I could not have gone any better than this being my first purchase. I had never seen this magazine before, and this is a ball hit straight out of the park, because this thing is nothing but childhood, late 1970s pop culture fun. And because I don't want to give too much away, I'm not going to go through every bit of this magazine, but I am going to hit on a few major points that I love in the pop culture fun of this book. First off, you just kind of open it up into this amazingly fun picture of Gene, autograph, Dynasty outfit, and just the fun of that. I don't know how a kid could keep these pages intact and not put them up on their wall. And as I said, it's written really for, very obviously, it's written for a child 9 years of age or younger. So you can totally see, once Phantom of the Park hit, that demographic of the band changed. And I understand why a lot of teenagers dumped the band at this time, and their audiences became kids, because this magazine is totally written for kids. And oddly, it's really written for like the female fan, because there are several articles in here all about dating the band. And this is one of my favorite pieces of this magazine because of that aspect. It's totally written for like an elementary school girl, and it's all about a fun date with Paul Stanley. And I mean, there's nothing sexual. It's just he picks you up, takes you out to dinner, and then at the end of the night gives you a big old smooch on your porch. And it is just so innocent and so magical. You can't help but smile and read this magazine. The ads in this magazine are also very, very cool. That Kiss Crazy magazine is another magazine that I have in this same vein. 1979, Fun and Games with Gene, Ace, Paul, and Peter. The letters written to the band, I don't even know if these are real letters or written by an author of this magazine, or maybe even written by Peggy Tamarkin, who was the band's publicist, but they're just so much fun. Dear Kiss, I think you're super. Here's another article, again, about how Ace's love will hurl you into orbit. And clearly written for the female fan, because this is a quiz where you can be their special girl. Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter tell you how. I actually took this quiz. I ended up with that man. Some more female targeted articles. Ex-girlfriends tattle. What does Gene really like without his makeup? Of course, Gene never dated Brooke Shields, but that's a great picture to insert. And also a little maybe crystal ball magic here. I guess this was December 1979. This article of Peter, he kind of hints that he wants to take the makeup off and he wants to be a serious actor, and almost fortune telling how 1979 would end and how 1980 would begin. I do love this. I don't know what boy or girl owned this in 1979, but they completed this word find puzzle, and it's to see how many times you can find Kiss, and they did it in blue ink, and they missed a few, so in red ink I completed the word find, and I thought that was pretty fun because it's almost like myself and an actual fan from 1979 got to kind of live vicariously through our fandom. I don't know where you are, boy or girl, these days. I hope you are well, and we shared a beautiful moment of Kiss fandom together. Again, these ads, my goodness, look at the fun there. Can you imagine owning that display that was used for this ad? Wow. That jewelry, you might as well cash in your 401k if you wanted every piece of that jewelry. Again, letters to fans, and I guarantee the band didn't write these, but they are so much fun. This top one, a kid writes Paul and says, I heard a neighbor is suing you for making too much noise, and he says, Dear James, unfortunately not everyone is a Kiss fan like you. I'm not too happy about the suit, but it's not an unusual situation for a musician to find himself in. We have problems like this all the time because we like to practice our music, but sometimes it disturbs people. I'm sure we'll work it out. That is Scholastic Book Fair fun, if I ever read it. Check out this Mylar poster ad for the Mylar posters from Double Platinum merch form. Must be seen to be believed, and those are a beauty. Again, some of the coolest ads ever. Ad for the radio and an ad for the jacket. And like I said, they were targeting both boys and girls with this magazine, for guys and for girls. The new Kiss jacket. You've probably heard some snoring, and it's been this girl. Bye-bye. She says, I'm going back to bed. I'll see you all later. And I think my favorite part of this book, because this definitely shows the child fandom of this band, there was a lookalike contest, and these are the third, second place, and first place winners with the contestants' actual names, and I actually want to do some Lieutenant Columbo research. These people have got to be out there somewhere. Social media, you can find almost anyone these days, and if these people were such big fans in 79, you know they are probably huge fans still to this day. Now look at this guy's outfit. First place winner. This is 1979, mind you. How in the world he made those boots is beyond me and is amazing. And he does deserve a first place prize, but I think old Lieutenant Columbo Demon here is going to do some internet research and see if we can find at least one of the winners from this contest. See, just not as fun. Not as fun as that. And here we end the magazine, but just wanted to share the 1979 fun of this magazine. If you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, you remember Woolworths. So when I say Woolworths, there was a pop culture fun to that store, and that is what this magazine represents to me. This is a magazine your grandma would buy you running errands with her and your mom for being a good kid and kind of keeping your trap shut. And this magazine just encompasses that moment that the fandom of the band turned to elementary school aged kids. I know that's not a popular moment in time of the band, but to me it is a magical time because that is when the machine went full on Vegas, full on Ringling Brothers, and full on 100% Americana pop culture. Thank you for hanging with us tonight and waxing a little rock and roll nostalgia with us here in the Wax Night Basement as we tiptoe down the childlike pop culture 1979 fun of the Dynasty era, celebrated in magazines like this. Pee-wee says, thank you for hanging with us. Take care, be safe, be good to your babies. Spay, neuter, microchip. Thank you, Mascara Masquerade, for sending in your dog. Don't forget to send us your pet to be featured on the Dogs of It's All For You Demon. We will talk to you soon. Pee-wee says,
Get lost, dummy.
I want to sleep.